Welcome back. IndiQube is one of India's premier flexible workplace provider that was founded by Rishi Das and Meghna Agarwal. It was built on the thought of changing and reimagining the limits of commercial real estate and provide workspaces for everyone. Today, it caters to unique needs of startups, unicorns, and even Fortune 500 companies. So what sets IndiQube apart and makes it future ready? We are joined in by co-founder Meghna Agarwal to know more. Joining us in a special chat, we have Meghna Agarwal, who is one of the co-founders of co-working space provider IndiQube. She is speaking with us about what are some of the trends shaping the co-working space industry, IndiQube's growth and expansion plans, and more. Meghna, welcome to CNBC TV 18.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So, straight off the bat, if you can share with us, what are some of the trends shaping the co-working space industry today in India?
Okay. So, before I start with the co-working industry, let me take a step back and tell you about the evolution of the real estate spaces. Yeah. So, when we talk about office spaces, we talk about, okay, I want an office space with a certain square feet, fixed lock-in time, and a fixed pricing, right? So, everything is very rigid, very fixed. There is no concept of flexibility in the system. Even in terms of designs, you will have a curvilinear workstation, bigger workstation, and the people would be working in silos. So over a period of time, the way you have seen disruption in other industries like your fintech or your edtech, the same transformation was happening in real estate. People believe that because of the uncertainty in the businesses, external factors and all, they wanted a pay-as-you-go model. They do not want to, pay for the workspaces which they are not using it. They want flexibility in the system. Yeah. Plus, even the curvilinear was replaced by linear workstation. They were more collaborative and a lot of creative zones which were incorporated in the layout. So all those trends were changing. And when we started IndiQube, so I can fairly say it was like changing the consumer behavior. And when the COVID came, then the narrative was the offices are going to be passé, everybody would work from home. And then, so for example, why do you need an office? You need office for your talent. So people realize that office is here to stay. It will be a hybrid model. Employees wanted employees to come to office, but employees do not want to come to the offices, right? And so these were certain trends which you're seeing. Also, there was a lot of, initially, the talent would go where the work is, but now the work is going where the talent is. So you would see a resurgence of a lot of tier 2, tier 3 cities also. So all these trends were happening. Also, post-COVID, what happened, a lot of MNCs, like the way the temping business has grown, the way they have these 20-25% of their manpower on the temping. Similarly, they understood that the 20-25% minimum of their real estate portfolio has to be flexible office spaces. So all those trends were happening. So still, I would say the real estate is undergoing transformation. We are still yet to see a lot of trends which are changing.
Okay, Meghna, if you can share with us, what sets IndiQube apart?
So to start with, we do not call ourselves as a co-working company, okay? We call us as a workspace solutions company. We provide full stack of services, starting from plug and play, you can call it enterprise model, co-working model, going up to interiors, renovation, upgradation, green solutions, services and technology. So it's entire gamut of services which we cover. So that kind of sets us apart itself, And both me and my co-founder Rishi believes that it's not a real estate play, it's a services play. So we've divided, for example, into hardware, software, and the application layer. So hardware is your infra, the software is the interiors and the fit out, then application is your food and transport, the services like food, transport, parking management, right? So this is what it is. And then we have competition in every layer, but it is a full stack of services. So the way we're approaching this space, I think is quite different.
So since you mentioned that, you look at it, your approach is more of a service approach, that comes with a lot of demands. Can you tell, some of the, most unique demands made by, some of the clients using IndiQube space?
So we have a diverse client base, like we have more than 600 clients, and we cater to each and every client, whether it is a one-seater or more than 1,000-seater. So there are quite a lot of demand which comes. What I could think of is there's one jewelry platform company which used to work with, and they have taken office spaces. So they would have those expensive designer jewelry and all. So they wanted us to, in their office spaces, they want us to make those hideous, disguised locker nobody could see, and so that they could put all their jewelry system out there with the security system and all. And as a visitor, nobody could see it. It looks like an office space or a regular wall, but there would be a hidden door, and so that's how
like the one we see in movies.
Movies, exactly. So we kind of did that. So it was a little, unique demand, which I would say. And then I was like, okay, and we actually did it for them.
What are some of the challenges when you were trying to scale up? And if you can also share that journey with us.
Getting the product right takes its own sweet time. So that is what it is. And we want to capture one market. Like the Bangalore is a fairly big market. To give you data, you have what 40 million square feet, which is absorbed across India, commercial real estate. Out of 40 million square feet, 19 million is in Bangalore. So you can imagine Bangalore is such a huge part. In fact, Bangalore absorbs more real estate than Vietnam, Indonesia and Shanghai put together. Vietnam, Indonesia and the Southeast Asia countries put together.
Oh, wow.
It absorbs more, the last 3 years, they have absorbed more real estate than Shanghai. So Bangalore is a fairly large market, and we are Bangalore. So we were Bangalore based, we are Bangalore based. So we want to get the product right in our home turf. So that kind of took a lot of time. But when it comes to scaling up, when we got the product right, so the scaling up, we actually faced a similar situation any company would have faced in scaling up. But the biggest challenge was not the COVID. It was the narrative that office would be passé, office would close down, it is work from home. So those narrative, which was very, very, I would say, challenging, and to overcome that. And there were companies which were making headlines. On one side, they were saying, we would ask all our people to work from home. On the other side, they are taking and leasing out office spaces, left, right, and center. So they were dichotomy in the news itself. But then, as I said, eventually people realize that offices are here to stay. It is not work from home, but is walk to work. People need offices. There will be a hybrid model. There will be a collaboration. We are a social animal. The way the schools are not going to be redundant because the online education is there, offices are going to be there, right? So it is the same philosophy and theory which will go for it.
And which market was like a really tough one to crack for IndiQube while entering?
So we divide the whole India in micro markets. So we have about 50 to 60 micro markets in India.
Right.
So like the few micro markets, we call it green zone, meaning by no matter even COVID happens, it is insulated. Nothing would happen. There will be a lot of demand. It will be a single digit vacancy. So we have markets like in Bangalore, Koramangala, HSR. Always green.
Zones.
Like you have Pune, Baner, green zone.
Green zone.
Bombay, Andheri, Metro, green zone. So it will always be green. So no matter whatever happens. Then you have a yellow market in which there will be demand, but which will take time to pick up. So it will be like a periphery market. It will take. So you have to take position then in there itself. And then there are micro markets which are red zone, in which no matter whatever you will do, you will not take the supply. So for example, in Bombay, you have Navi Mumbai. In Pune, you have Hinjawadi, right? So the supply is huge. So we usually do not enter in the market where the vacancy is in double digit. Wherever the vacancy is less than in the single digit only, then we will enter into speculative. When it comes to double digit, then until unless we do not have a client, we do not enter in those markets, because then those are red zones markets.
Since you mentioned green zones and red zones, and what are the prospective markets that, that are currently looking like green zones for IndiQube?
Oh, they're tier 2 and tier 3. It was tier 3 cities.
Which ones in specific?
Specific Coimbatore. It's a huge surprise, because of the talent availability, the cost of living, and the quality of life. All three, fantastic inflection point. Coimbatore is our next large market. We already have about 5 lakh square feet there, and we are growing. And the quality of companies which are coming is outstanding. It's fantastic. Then the company and the micro market like Kochi, Madurai. Beautiful markets, The demand is huge, and in fact, the problem with these markets are the supply. The good buildings, are not there, because that is not the way the city was kind of built up. So in fact, we are working with a lot of landlords to kind of build the buildings now. But these markets are fantastic.
But tell me, Meghna, and this makes me very curious. When you are deciding, okay, Kochi looks good, Coimbatore looks good to IndiQube. When you decide to enter that particular market, what is the approach there? What is the strategy? How do you go about it?
So when it comes to office space, I tell you, the talent and the space, they goes hand in hand, right? So we usually do the heat mapping first, That is very important because India is a very big country, right? And so we can, for example, why GCs are coming here? It's just not the cost arbitrage. The cost arbitrage is gone. Those things are passé. It is the talent availability. I can open an office in Texas, but where's the talent? They need 100 technical architects. Do you have I can have the building. I have an office space, but where will I get those talent? So they have to come back. back to India, right? So it is the talent availability. So if you see Coimbatore, Kochi, the talent availability is huge because of the presence of the engineering colleges and all. The youth, the demographic. So you have to study that. You have to do the heat map and accordingly you will go. Plus we have a strategy, we call it bullets and cannons, meaning by we will fire bullets. We'll take smaller offices, smaller spaces like 25,000 square feet, 25,000 square feet. And then we see how the market is performing. And then once we set our market, then we will fire cannons, then we'll take the entire building, So that is just like taking the baby step first, establish in your market, and then they'll go for the bull run.
Yeah. And what are some of the strategies that you use, when you enter a new market to attract new members to your space?
It's actually a culmination of multiple strategies. So one strategy, I would say the acquisition strategy, if I can say so. Like, for us, location is the key. The location is very, very important. It has to be A+. I do not mind a B grade building. So what we do, we go to a location A+, we take a grade B- building, we work with the landlord, we upgrade it, we renovate it, and we give our client grade A- experience. My clientele is not looking for grade A+. My client is very happy with the kind of pricing he's ready to give with the grade A-, but a grade A+ location. So location is important for us. Secondly, if you've seen initially people would go to the city. They would stay in the center of the city. Last 10 years, nobody wants to stay in the CBD. Now, again, people are going back to the CBDs because of the metros. So wherever the metros, because of this connectivity is improved, so we are now looking for a lot of buildings. In fact, 50% of my portfolio, we do a lot of renovated buildings. Older buildings, we would renovate and we upgrade them. So the location is very, very important for us. So this is one very, very thing. Then the offering, then the kind of clients, for example, if you go to Jaipur, if you go to Pune, so Pune, it is more than the startup, the market is of the offshore development centers, GCC. So their mindset is different. But if you come to Bangalore, then it is more startup-led. If you go to Chennai, it is more SaaS companies-led, because they call it Zoho Mafia, right? So everybody's in Chennai. So they have a SaaS platform, all those companies. So they have a different mindset. So, but when you've been in this industry for so long, then you understand those demographics and then you work accordingly.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today and thanks for sharing these insights with us.
Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, X and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.